Let's fight! A very good evening to each and every one of you from the many places you're joining us. Donald George, good evening to you, Rastaman, and all the other folks who are joining us. Let's fight. We hope you guys are good. We hope that you guys are well. Many places you're joining us from, at home and abroad. We hope that you're good. Yep, we hope that your day was fantastic. It got off to a running start and you accomplished a couple of things as you headed in more into the day, forward into the day. Here we are at the end of it, folks, and we hope that you guys are satisfied with the things you did today. Rihanna Roberts Mingo, good to have you there with us this evening. Great to have you, Rihanna Roberts Mingo, and all the other folks who are joining us this evening. Privileged to have each and every one of you. You're going to want to share their life tonight. You're going to want to smash the emoji button. Folks, please do that for us as we coming on. So much to talk to you about. We might need 2 hours tonight. It's just that kind of evening. We might need 2 hours. But good to have each and every one of you here with us, folks. Great to have all of you at this end. It's pace and power, of course. Pace and power, pace and power. Good to have you folks with us, as we said. As we said, we are ensuring that we share to all the valid and credible places. And as usual, folks, we are just very, very delighted to have each and every one of you here. Simply delighted to have you all here. And since we are now going through to a couple of places, we want to ring that bell again as we welcome folks in. Some folks are now joining us. Great to have you all on the live. Finally, good to see each and every one of you. Share, 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 share. Share the live for us. Smash that emoji button as well. Happy to have all of you here, good folks. Happy to have all of y'all. Where we? How y'all doing? Great to see all of you folks on the share. Great to see all of you on the live. If you come on, the price of admission is to share the live. The price is to smash that emoji button, folks, and we're going to get right into it. We're going to get right into it. Magnell Barrow, we see you there. Because Magnell is here, we are going to get right into it. But good to see each and every one of you. Nonetheless, wherever you're joining us from, you know we brought that story to you this morning of the 2 young men, Marvin and Ellis, who were brutally slayed there at Parika Facade. Yesterday afternoon, we learned about that, and we spoke about it in our program last time this morning as well. Onessa Wardeen, well, today, folks, today, you all know how it goes. We had to get more information because we know that we have an audience who like valid, credible information. Y'all don't like it third hand. Good to have you folks here with us, and that's how we're going to do it for you guys this evening. And there is where we want to start because, you know, we don't have the first bell ring, but his family was there, and they told us, part one, as we get into it, they told us this is not the very first time that this has happened. Their story happened before. Another brother was chopped. Another brother was injured. We ventured into Parika today and spoke with the mother, Sybil Joseph, who gave us some background to where this contention came from between the individual or individuals who were involved in the brutal slaying of Marvin and Ellis. Take a look, take a listen. The opener, folks.
My sister, we're talking about these young men who lost their lives. Tell us who they were to you.
My son them.
Both of them. These
Both
were
of
your
them
sons.
was my, there's my two sons them. The one is the big one and the small one.
Tell us what happened.
April month. April month. Well, this man them what do me children them like this. Them was best friend with my son them. Them been living over there. This was them house.
Mhm.
And them come from work, then just come here, we go eat together. Sometimes we got a little party, they come, they drink a little beer together, everybody gone home. So just one morning early now, my son left, the one but there, he left and gone across. So he going to his cousin and the boy run across from over there and chop my son from the hand. Chop in the back, he got for chop in neck, he bar it. Very good. All right. That part's finished. We've no he not gonna report. Police come, them report and said that how me son them gone because my son get chopped. My son run, he get mad and chop up. The man step for truth. All right, the man bring the police then come and lock up two of them boys. Anyway, that done.
What was this initial incident about? That first incident.
The first one.
What happened? Why they had this chopping in the first place? That first
It's
incident.
just for nothing. This thing is for nothing at all because my son, the home, I tell you, he gone across for walk. He said he hear this by a car behind his son when he going. And when he turned back, the man running behind him. The boy run and chop his ribs. Just he go for Barrett and the boy chop his ribs. So anyway, that thing done, right? The boy no gonna report, my son no gonna report. So the people that move out for that, they gonna live also. So I continue now. So one, they said that how they're threatening, they're sending threatening word to me son them now, how they go come and we anytime. All right, continue till Father's Day. My husband here watchman, so he take a little drink with his son them. And 5 o'clock he left from here and he gone, right? The afternoon. And he left with three son them home. So he said now, my son tell me, mommy, me want $2,000, me want to buy a banco. So me gave him $2,000. He gone, he buy the banco, then continue drinking. Around 2 o'clock, he lay down. Them stop. They all he cousin them from over. They just one family, right? Them sport. Anyway, he gone, he lay down. And now me come downstairs back, me come check he left his music back downstairs, me put it good and he gonna lay down in the house upstairs on the bed. But he not drop the net over here. He just lay down and he sleep. So 5 o'clock the morning now. Well, me sleep just to the doorway there. And me only hear this thing song like my chop a meat bone or this thing song and this by start kick up put a song and me jump up and me watch my son don't get chopped. Traffic. Me turn around back to say me watch the bike no going down he passed me. He coming down. Make off a scramble this bike but something said no don't do it because me would have dead. He would have chopped me or jerked me in my face.
So this
The
is
bike was chopped he.
this is a second
This
chopping
is the
incident.
second, yes, this how me going. The second one. Anyway, we take this bike, we carry it to the hospital. What's up to now? The bike can't eat, right? It's Father's the Monday, 5 o'clock. This thing happened. Yes. All right. The police them come, then catch the bike. So this thing continue now. Again, we hearing the message the bike get away. Somebody sending message that then go catch me son them again. So nobody. We not really checking for nothing because me son them not trouble nobody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there when the first bell ring. Well, that was the first bell there, folks. That's the opener. You're gonna want to stay with us for the rest of it. You're gonna want to stay with us for the rest of it, folks, because there's a lot. So there were two chopping incidents in the past, and I saw some of you saying, people ain't gonna run in sun chop people like. Oh, I'll stay for the rest of it. How are we looking there? How are we looking tonight, folks? Let's get on with it. Y'all know how we start, folks. That was the opener. That was the opener, good folks. That was the opener. And now we head into some international. Y'all I'm telling me story here, you know. Y'all telling we half and left in half. We want to know the whole thing. We want to know the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. Not piece. The whole thing. Good folks. We want to know the whole thing. We hope you all look good. You hope you all are well. Wherever you're joining us from this evening. Biden. Y'all and tell us Biden introduced Zelensky as President Putin. Oh, Biden. Oh. You know, Biden's supposed to have a press conference tomorrow. I think he's gonna sign out then. Watch for it. Biden's gonna have a press conference solo. He's just taking questions and answering them off the cuff. Of course, he's probably doing his research. But when the day before that, you introducing the Ukrainian president, Vladimir Zelensky, as President Putin, folks, nothing to see here. The curtains about to come down on the Biden presidency. Tomorrow is Friday. Watch for it. Watch for it. Somebody ought to bring this train wreck to an end. I said, watch for it. Introduced Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, as President Putin. Watch for it. Tomorrow it's coming. Tomorrow it's coming. Moving on, good folks. Y'all don't tell me Ruto fired the whole cabinet. Almost everybody. Y'all don't tell us, but we heard. Ruto of Kenya, the fellow who sent this, some soldiers, boots on the ground in Haiti. We can't send to Haiti. We sent to Grenada. We couldn't send anybody to Haiti. Ruto, they tell us his fight is home. Because of simmering discontent over the financial situation in the country. Oh, if only we were so brave. Ashley Gunn, Onage, Mark. I said the misfits, you talk good governance, but the practice of it is something totally different. Fire, almost all the cabinet members, they said, simmering financial discontent in Kenya. Yeah. My brother from Kenya got to tell us what's happening here. Pace and power with William Ruto. Pace and power, Ruto. Pace and power. Some people got a lot of pace, but the power little sometimes the power little suspect. We talk the talk, and I can show you just now. When we come to, you know who, big head. Big head, you know who. We talk the talk, but we don't often walk the walk in these parts. And I think I got a little problem with that. If it's okay with y'all. We got to start walking the walk. Right? So many people in this country hurting. I tell y'all, I see a lot of people getting elected recently, but I always in the streets by myself. I always out here in the streets by myself. We all these people there, man. You know, some folks has called me. My friend Nemo called me. Sherwin Holder called me. You know, doing different things, different places. Not everybody. Some people busy and so on. Charita and Ricky and so. Some other people, I ain't seeing them. I'm not seeing them. Who know? Y'all call some names, I go whistle. This is where the thing is. So many people hurting in this country. Just like in Kenya. But only Ruto, like he got the testicular fortitude to take the bull by the horns. Ruto has the testicular fortitude to do what it takes. So we started by telling you Biden introduced Vladimir Zelensky as President Putin. And now Ruto different here. Dismisses cabinet ministers, promises a new government shortly. Watch for it, good folks. Watch for it. Moving on up. Some of the things we find in the Caribbean. You know, some people are playing with Beryl. Some people were playing with Beryl, but I want y'all to know, Beryl in plane. I saw some people winding up and gyrating and a whole manner of things. Beryl in plane. But first, thank you, Biden. Some Caribbean countries hard hit by Hurricane Beryl. They promised some immediate relief. Right up front of personal, Grenada, Jamaica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines are among some of those countries that are going to be benefiting from some immediate humanitarian aid thanks to U.S. aid. You know, they were here the other day, the deputy administrator of U.S. aid. And these Caribbean countries now get some funding. Grenada, Jamaica, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. And we hope that's a small freck. It's not a big thing yet. Not a big quunk. It's a small thing to offset some of that immediate expenses that are going to have. Nonetheless, respect and manners to the American authorities. Respect and manners to them. And I did say some people playing with Beryl. Don't play with nature. Unforgiving unforgiving. They tell us that this young man here was swept out to sea. Swept out to sea. Right? Reginald Allen, I think his name is. Apologies there. We seem to got a little chowtic. Reginald Allen of a place called Arnett Gardens in Jamaica. Is it Jamaica? Let me make sure I get it right. Havana. Of Havana. Arnett Garnett. They were playing football. Playing football in the storm. And you're gonna do over, you know. Mechatem is a gun. Y'all ever heard that? When last you heard that? Mechatem is a gun. That's what happened there. That is what transpired. So be careful out there. We saw folks whining and gyrating and all manner of things. And then now this is the after. Thanks, guys. This is the aftermath now. It's a long time we find somebody wrong this part. Who know? So be careful out there. You got these big storms and so on. Washed away. Just recovered his body. Washed away. Just recovered his body. Moving on. Thoughts and prayers with his family. Y'all know how many times we say that? Y'all know only plentiful times. Then we say that. We circling back to where we started. We're in the 590. Y'all know once we come in, once we land, once we touch down. That's what happened to the Joseph family there in Parika. 2 brothers chopped to death overnight. Marvin and Ellis. Seem to have had a running feud with a family there. And as we start, if you now joined us, the Joseph's mother told us that twice before another son was the target of violence from this particular family, whoever they are. Another son. And that's what we started our program with for the opener. And then she told us what transpired on this fateful day. Take a look and take a listen. Sybil Joseph, mother of Marvin and Ellis Joseph, who were brutally slaughtered, chopped to death, Parika Facade, yesterday. Take a look and take a listen. What she told us happened on this fateful day.
Last week time, a man come from, so he said he want people to work with him, but my son them used to work with he last year. A Negro man. So the man continue coming, but them by like them no want to go work. The 2 of them were dead. Were dead now. But anyway, they gone Tuesday, the man come for them, they can't work. That the Wednesday morning, they gone to work again. And we waiting for them because the man come for them and carry them. Them by not rich. We only hear phone call that my son dead. The next one gone hospital, poorly bad, he dead. That's where the boys them kill Mitchell and that's how the story start and now them and kill 2 of them.
This is the same person.
Yes, the same person this
So
time.
what did you hear that happened yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yes.
Well,
How did your sons ended up being where they were? Because we heard they had cutlasses, they charged to this person, and the person retaliated. What did you hear happen?
well, he got a buy. He got a buy here, was gone with them for work. He stayed with we couple months. He come and he have them friends too. He and them, the 3 of them left and gone yesterday morning for work with the boss man. Come for them here. So the boss man supposed to give account for that because he did bringing them home. And that is how them jump out from. This is how we hear, right? The man they coming home with them and they stop to the place where they go there now. And the boys them jump out and they see this man rush up to them. So them jump out. So the man he drive and he swing back. By the time he go drive and swing back to come back, he only see Miss Malton run out from the people then gate and drop right there on the little piece of bridge to cross over.
So where were your sons when this incident happened? They were working? They were
Yes,
on the
they
work site
gone
to
to
work.
work.
Uh-huh.
And then at 3 o'clock, and they coming home, the bus bringing them home. And when them coming with the bus now, the bus them said them slow, them tell the bus to slow down for pass the people them. So the bus them jump out when the bus watch wrong, then bus don't jump out.
So they jump out to the.
But they see the enemy just come towards them. So the bus them jump out, the two bus them.
So did they come out the vehicle because they saw this other guy?
Saw the bike. So the bike, the driver, he drive in a gun, he just drive and turn wrong. By the time he could turn wrong, so them only see that my son run out back the small one and drop there on the bridge. So the place not that far, the gate. And the next one coming with pole in his hand. Say, the man, don't worry up.
So is one person did this, or was a number of persons who
Three
confronted
persons was in the house. The nephew, the uncle, and the grandma, like I said, and the son-in-law.
So they were the ones who
in the
attacked.
house, and the mother was in the house.
So they attacked your sons in response.
Yes, they attacked them back. But me son them didn't go with cutlass the morning because I'm telling the cutlass they're the one that work with. The man carry them for weed grass with grass weed, right? So them didn't gun with cutlass. So if they did gun with cutlass, them would have defend themselves, right? Though they said that how them chop them own self. But it's not so the woman talking lie because my husband said the mistress, the house mistress, when he went yesterday to see his son, the house mistress tell the police them that she didn't went when she see this thing happening, she run away. So how come she go give a statement that my son them chop up them own self? Them didn't drink, them not drunk.
What do you think was the thing that was responsible for all this animosity between them and this guy or these people? What do you think was it? Why were they always attacking them?
Well, because them know they want to do them that they want to kill them already. I saw them attacking me. Because what should they left that one? And if me son them the bad for the second, the third time, then would I try do something for defend themselves, you see?
So there was no reason. They just always had. They always had this feud. They always had this feud back and forth.
So this is what happened to my children then. My son them.
What do you want to see happen now?
Well, I want justice because I see the man. They said that the man got badly wounded. He there in the hospital, but I see the man today. Just come from the station and the man they outside. Them not got the man in the lockup. They got to sit down outside with a chain for the foot. That's all.
So what is the police saying?
Man, them police suspect bribe. Them same Parika police, them is take bribe, right? If somebody bribe them, that's what they're there for. That's the same person who kill up my son them now. He just say he and them is friends. So anytime he do something, he just got to pass dial upon him. And he said free. And it look like that. So how he then, because the girl come to bring food for him, and the police them tell she must wait. So that means after we come, something take place. If the man go come out, sometime the man don't come out. Because one of the police telling the man wife saying, you know what, I got to hire a lawyer for this boy. Like he said free, like he come out to fight this case. You see, in front of it.
I hear you. So sorry for your loss, Mrs. Sam. So sorry.
So them this buyer used to work every day. Them this buyer work for help mind the one what there and we cause my husband there in a job, but he just get paid till.
So the one who's here now, he was wounded by this fella too?
The same fella. This them got my son like that, the two brother them. And the buy get away and gone and they say one what they hold up there.
We're gonna take a look and see how your son is doing here.
Yeah. See my son get fine, my son. It must be a month since my son left already.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Well, a month ago, another son, another brother was attacked. But it kept gnawing at me as I was talking to them. You know when death is in the family, death is in the area. You go in there to give your condolences and talk with this family. And death and grief is hanging on every tree, every branch, every limb in this place. And the family is stricken by grief, and you got to find a way through all of that to see what really happened here. Is the fellow a madman? What was the thing that started all of this? One attack on the brothers, two attack on another brother, or second attack on another brother. Now this third attack claiming the lives of two brothers. But we think a cousin who we spoke with as well gave us a little insight to what transpired at Parika Facade just yesterday that brought an end to the lives of Marvin and Ellis Joseph. And we were talking with their mother there, Sybil Joseph. But a cousin, we think, offered a little insight on how this whole incident started. Take a look and take a listen.
Father's night, then come in my auntie house and chop my cousin. And after that, he come in the house and chop my cousin, and then he leave and go out back on the road.
But what was responsible for that? You know,
Then we had no problem with this with my cousin court. Then we had no problem.
Remember when Ellis get trapped? 14 highway work in 14
Yeah, he went highway work in court. My cousin went highway
so
work.
Father's night,
Father's night.
one of the boys were injured.
Yeah, Father's night at 3 o'clock that happened morning. That's why we had to rush to hospital when I carry him and my cousin. So you carry and nothing come of the story. The person get away. And then keep threatening, and now then kill the two brothers then.
But why was this family so antagonistic towards y'all? They run in here, they chop one of the brothers who's
Yeah,
here.
and chop the my next cousin. Same
And,
by what it is.
yeah, and now they've killed two.
Yeah, then kill the two brothers then.
Clearly, they didn't like this family. They got some
Yeah, then like
envy
them
or
hate
something like
them,
that.
like them fighting down for the land, like man. And fighting down for the land.
Oh, the land they
Yeah,
wanted.
them fighting down for the land.
Why is that? What they think the land belongs to them here?
It's squatting land with their own. Squatting land belongs to nobody.
This land and me go move up, but it's not a problem. Me tell the boy it's not.
Yeah, and them boy don't trouble nobody. Them boy is work very hard to mind them parents and them brother will get damaged,
Mm. So this problem stemmed from the land y'all
Yeah.
are living on here
Yeah.
and them wanting this land.
Yeah, they're fighting on for it.
Yep. Who was responsible for this? They said it's the land. The folks were trying to get them off the land, squatting land. Trying to get them off the land. You're bracing yourself. We ain't done yet. Brace yourself. Hold on a second. Brace yourself. We did tell you, according to the family, 2 attacks on this family precipitated this fatal attack on Gavin and Ellis Joseph. The brother who was attacked before, he was there today when I went to speak to the family. He was brutally assaulted. Can't speak. There's wiring in his mouth, wires in his mouth. It's not braces. Wires holding his mouth together. And when he came a little closer, I was shocked. Because he is now healing from the wounds of that attack. He said the family says the boys were, the person who did this to him was never held accountable. Escaped, you heard the mother say that. The cousin say that. And he's asking for justice. This brother who was viciously attacked before. And the family now asking for justice for these 2 brothers. You're bracing yourselves? We halfway into the broadcast. You're bracing yourself? As we say around these parts. You're bracing it over? Annette and Neville, Urban Dawn and Rosetta Wayne and all the other folks. Y'all bracing it over? And the other brother couldn't speak to me because it's so difficult for him to talk with all these things in his mouth. Take a look at the scars he is healing from. Yep. So he has had almost his entire face ripped off. He has had this is Kurt Joseph. He's now healing from an attack about a month ago, Father's Day. And he has almost had his entire face ripped off. And they're saying they haven't gotten any justice for this as yet. From the police at Parika. They haven't had any justice as yet from the police at Parika. Haven't had any justice from the Ghana Police Force. But I understand the Ghana Police Force has been a little busy. I see policemen putting up apartment buildings, policemen buying all kinds of buildings for 45 million. But the ordinary citizens in this country, could you imagine if they had stepped in here, the police force, and actually done their jobs? 2 lives might have been saved. You're bracing yourselves. You're bracing yourselves tonight. Father, have his mercy. That's a chop across your face, you know. Counting his lucky stars tonight to be alive and still asking for justice. Where's justice in this country? Where is it? Where is it? The good book says it stands afar off. And look, Jack Neo and Irfan, with justice there. It's only rich people in this country get justice. Here's it. With justice there. We call for justice for this family. Wherever it falls. On their side, the other side, but let it be justice. Wires in his mouth. Wires. He talks with a muffle. You saw that. Father, have his mercies. Father, have his mercies. Let's turn our attention to some. I don't know why we're getting this flicker. Let's turn our attention to some of the other things we're tracking tonight. Trying to be a hero and finish on time. Look what's happening here. Thoughts and prayers with us. You pray for them. All the families involved there. You could do that to somebody. You could chop up 2 other people like that and just that. Jesus, have mercy. Father, have mercy. And the police don't intervene. People just killing themselves like it's the wild, wild west. Bureau of Standards. They're clamping down on the fake and the falsities. Wrong measurements and so on. Substandard products. They said they've seized or destroyed about 11,000 items. Substandard. Substandard. Lamp holders, wires, cables, circuit breakers, extension cords, power outlets, receptacles, plugs. This is not a level of wickedness, you know. You know you're buying substandard stuff and selling people. Things that won't last a month. Well, the Bureau of Standards, GNBS, Ghana National Bureau of Standards, clamping down. And you gotta get order. Gotta get order. Gotta get order. Look, story here now. taxi driver. This is not for recreational use. Nabbed with 257 pounds of ganja. If this is that family we just talked to there, to Joseph in Parika facade, I say, hey, because they got a lot of problems. Taxi driver, we do it all this. What he do it? 257 pounds? That's lifetime use. That's lifetime use. Now we always say, if you can't do the time, leave the crime alone. Leave the crime alone. Incidentally, the name is not mentioned of the taxi driver, but that was a roadblock. 257 pounds. Yeah, that's what all the rice field and cane fields are going to now. Now that the non-oil sector waning. No easy day in this country. Baby Joseph, who attempted to kill her 9-year-old daughter after her boyfriend said both daughter and mother were wastes. She was charged with attempted murder, not required to plead to the indictable charge. Bibi Farina Joseph, she tried to chop her own daughter, you know. She must see was on some of the other thing. I don't know. Folks, this country like it gone. Has something going on to them boys, but like it's gone, we gone. Like it's gone, we gone. And by the time you're done with Bibi and you turn wrong, look story here now. Jesus have mercy. Look story here now. By the time we're done with Bibi, we go around the back street by the side house. Some other story you got to deal with. Some other story we got to deal with here. Firing and more. Every day. Violence against women and girls. Carnage on our roads and waterways. Murders, attempted murder, manslaughter. Jesus have mercy. Where does it end? Firing and more. Claim the life of a baby. That's what they're telling us. Claim the life of this baby. 3-month-old Leroy Archer was a victim of this and more fire today, Thursday. According to reports, the child mother, Chandrauti Manikchan, was in the bathroom. The child was left in the bedroom. The devastated woman told the media that she was alerted about the fire in the house, ran to the bedroom to get the child. The room, however, had already been engulfed in flames, forcing her to exit the building. It's one country, you know. Jesus mercy. One country. One. Thoughts and prayers with these families. Thoughts and prayers with them. It's one country. Baby gone. Baby gone. Beautiful baby. Leroy Archer. And in the same report, they're reminding us that at Seafield, Sophia, just a few days ago, 4-year-old Junior Anderson perished in a fire. This country and cross. Jesus, I would apologize. If you feel the country and cross, I apologize to you for thinking that. If you say, Sherrod, this country ain't cross, I apologizing to you. Y'all hear me? Thoughts and prayers with this family. Thoughts and prayers with them. And then you got them boys to deal with. You got the boys to deal with. The other set of crosses. Wicked and dirty. Wicked, stink, and dirty. That's who they are. Look story here now. I thought he just get promote. I never hear a good thing. But Brutus. I never hear a good. If y'all get the biography and got some good things in there, y'all tell me. I have never heard a good thing. I heard the allegations about a 15 million deposit at the police credit union, a 1.5 million interest. Sweet Jesus. Is that credit union like open to members of the public? Right? And hearing others in the police force, got big apartment buildings and so on, buying up properties like nothing. When is the next recruitment for the Ghana police force? This thing becoming more and more appealing. You see? Becoming more and more appealing. He said he didn't do nothing. The allegations are false, and he's proceeded on annual leave to facilitate an investigation. Who doing the investigation? Who doing it? Who doing it? Who doing it? Who doing the investigation? Don't let me go too far. Who doing it? While we are not, while we are on crimes, the AG's reported to have said long prison sentences, even in death penalty, is not being proven to stem criminal activity. But let me keep hanging them then. It make no difference. Let me keep hanging them and save the state some money. That's what he said. Long prison sentences, even did that penalty ain't working. Well, we gotta get more creative then. We gotta get more creative, apparently, according to the AG. It ain't working. Now we got the Jagabats to deal with. Papa Jagabat and the baby Jagabats. The whole pack of them we got to deal with. Telling us next year is elections within the specified period, October to November. And of course, y'all know, y'all can believe him because he's an honorable man. He's an honorable man. You can believe him. He's an honorable man. You see? You can believe him. He also talked about what's happening in tendering and procurement and bidding for contracts in this country in his press conference today. Folks, some of what I heard was a little fascinating for me. Was a little fascinating for me. And you got to listen to them to understand the madness that passes for good governance in this country. So take a listen to a part of this press conference where it talks about what's happening in this sector, some of the shortcomings, and how they're laying down the law. And on the other side of that, I'll have some context for you. So take a listen to that and tell me if anything stands out to you. He's talking about contracts, the tendering and procurement process, like Tupui and so on, and getting them big contracts and so on. Tell me if anything stands out to you, what he said. Take a look, take a listen.
I met also with the contractors and the regional administration, with the Ministry of Finance staff and the Minister of Finance. And we laid out basically how we intend to, what we expect of the tendering authorities in the system when they manage the budget, and what our expectations are of the contractors. So from the region's perspective, they need to comply with the Procurement Act fully and the regulations to that act. There's no room for departure from that act unless they get the explicit approval of the NPTAP and the Ministry of Finance. Too often we have found departures from the standard bidding documents that are part of our legislation. And because there are so many procuring entities around the country, hundreds of them at different levels, departmental level, ministerial level, and public corporations, in semi-autonomous agencies, in statutory bodies, and the central ministries, sometimes they're depending on who is the procuring officer, who heads the procurement system, they can alter the bidding document, which should be standard. That should not happen. And so They asked for more training because they said there is a high turnover of staff often, and therefore a lot of people are not are doing this because they need better training. And so we're committing to better training of the staff who are doing procurement, and to make sure that they have clear understanding of what our expectations are and how the system should operate. It should be fair. We also have embarked nationwide, and we started in various regions, that they have to know who the people are. There are some contractors who, through their families, who own multiple companies, wife, children, everybody, and they come and bid. You don't know who they are because they're companies. So, and then you can end up with maybe a single family putting in three different bids or four different bids, and often they win contracts. And then the community knows who they are, but we don't know because they come through the veil of the company. So they have to examine this carefully, the regions. They have to start cleansing the list, and people have to start declaring their interests. There's some people, public servants who have companies. They should, if you're bidding, and there's no prohibition if you work for government to bid in a contract, but you should not do so in an entity that you is connected to you, etc. And so we are enforcing that so that you can't prejudice the bid process. We have had cases where people who have done bad work and continue to get contracts and continue to do bad work, so that is something that you have to look at. And so we've outlined several of the criteria, spoke with the region and the contractors. People sometimes from outside the region, we will try as far as possible in every region to have the regional budgets go to contractors from that region. So if it's region 10, the people in region 10 should be able to benefit the contractors there. So we laid this out, and then we had a tough talk with the contractors too, that we intend to rigidly enforce the law. We expect good quality work, and we intend to blacklist people who do shoddy work. So this, what we did there in region 2, we're going to replicate across the country. The Ministry of Finance will go across the country to ensure that on all the procuring authorities, whether it's not just there, but in every ministry, that they are aware of this, and that departures would have from established procedures will have consequences.
Yep, that's what he said, folks. That is what he said. What the madness there? Friends, family, government employees, bidding for contracts and so on. We want MP Ganesh Mahipal to put things in perspective for us. So Rock can come in, MP. Thank you.
MP Ganesh Moipal, I'm certain by now you would have seen the Vice President press conference in which he talks about bidding and procurement and what I perceive as basically trying to cover up corruption that's happening under their administration. Give us your impression and some of what you've heard. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sherrod, and good evening to you and your viewers. Of course, I looked at the press conference by the Vice President, and it's necessary for all of us to pay keen attention to what he normally would say. And oftentimes, when we fact check what is it that he's saying, he is basically trying to bluff the guy and these people with a set of fluff. And particularly in this case, he made a few points that I took copious notes on. For example, he made reference that regions must comply with the Procurement Act. And I don't know why that suddenly is there in his head. The regions are supposed to comply with the Procurement Act, and this is something that the coalition has been ensuring when we were in government, and even though we are in the National Assembly as the opposition, we keep hammering the importance of us adhering to the laws that exist And in this sense, the Procurement Act requires for the Regional Procurement and Tender Administration Board to comply with the Procurement Act of 2003. But it's not isolated to just the Regional Procurement and Tender Administration Board. All tender boards, including the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, ought to comply with the Procurement Act because that is the law that governs procurement in our country. He also said that they have noticed that there is departure from the act. Now, if you have noticed that there is departure from the act, then you need to act as a government, as a responsible government. You need to hold people responsible. These procurement, these tender boards that you have, ministerial tender boards, you have regional tender boards, and you have the national tender boards, the national tender board. These boards were put in place by you, the administration, the government, the regime. You put people there to serve without consultation with even the opposition. In fact, I have pointed out several times that the composition of regional tender boards are done in a way that is against the act because the act speaks to there being two representatives from the respective regions on the regional tender boards. And we have found that in for example, regions 4, 7, and 10, they don't have any representation from the Regional Democratic Council that is elected by the council to sit there. But all other regions that were won by the PPP, they have representations that are elected to sit on the regional tender board. If there is departure from the act, people ought to be held accountable. And those who have who partook in departing from this act ought to answer questions and be brought before the competent authority to be held responsible for taxpayers' money, because it is cases like that that has caused us to see people receiving contracts that are not entitled or were not qualified or did not reach the requirement. We have case in point, the Bellevue pump station that was given to the Guyanese critic, and we see that in the evaluation he did not reach any of the criteria that was set out. So you need to hold people responsible, and we need to know the departure from the act. Was it done by way of instructions from these government officials, by way of instruction from you, Barrett Jagdeo? Because we know that you have a hand in everything. And I would not, it wouldn't surprise me to hear a public servant say they were directed to do so, because that is what this administration is known to do: politicize the entire system, create the confusion, and then want to fly in like that saved by night kind of person to say that they need to fix XYZ. He also said families own multiple companies. We know that. Everybody knows that. There are families who name who the father has a company as one name, the son has a company by a different name, the wife has a company by the other name. We have pointed out all of these things before in the National Assembly. They did not listen to us, and now it is coming back to bite. And they're trying now to say that they did not know and they will have to correct it in a manner of which they're trying to ease the multiple complaints that are coming from across the country by people who feel as though they're being treated unfairly, and the injustice being meted out to the masses, and the people who are complaining bitterly of this regime not acting in their interest. He's now trying to sugarcoat it, but the problem still exists. He said public servants who have companies, that there is no prohibition. There's no prohibition to that. That is untrue. Jagdeo ought to know that that is untrue. He served as president of this country. He served as minister of finance. He served on many other positions before. He ought to know that that is untrue. This document that I have here, this is the Public Service Rules of 1987. And in the rules of the public service, it clearly tells us that public servants are not to engage in any other form of earning without seeking the necessary permission. And the permission has to come from the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Public Service. And there's a reason why that is in place, because that permanent secretary, when a public servant seeks permission or right for approval to go earn somewhere else, that permanent secretary has to carry out a investigation basically to ascertain whether the earning that this public servant is going to seek elsewhere will conflict with the job that he or she is doing as a public servant in the system. And that's a reason why that mechanism is there. So nobody is against public servants earning at a second job. In fact, I believe they should, given what cost of living is doing to this country and what the PPP is doing to this country and people of this country. But the system has to ensure that there is checks and balances. The system has to ensure that there is no unfair treatment to others when the public servant seeks to earn elsewhere. And that is why they need to not do it in a secretive manner. You cannot have a public servant who works in a region, who works in the procurement division, who is closely knitted to contract evaluation or contract bidding or whatever it has to do with contracts. And then that public servant then writes to the PS to seek employment, to become a contractor, and then apply for contracts and then participate in a process. That's conflict of interest. So there has to be ways and means of doing it accurately, correctly, and in a manner that it does not jeopardize others. And all of this we have pointed out in the National Assembly before. This man also said that regional budgets go to regional contractors, regional budget through the regional budget system. Contractors from within the respective regions ought to get those contracts from regions. Well, you can't just make that pronouncement. You as an individual cannot just simply make that pronouncement. All that we have to do to facilitate regional contractors in respective regions to get the contracts that are awarded at the regional tender board level, we have to amend this act. This is the Procurement Act that governs procurement in this country, that governs the awarding of contracts and speaks to the composition of tender boards and the methodology how one can appeal, and it speaks to so many other aspects of contract awarding. And unless the National Assembly amends this act or repeal it completely with a new act that can reflect the necessary changes so that it can be modernized to suit what is necessary for our country, then all that Jagdeo has said and all that he has uttered today at his press conference are basically ways and means of how to violate this act and bring the entire system into disrepute and create mayhem. I am therefore saying that for us to ensure that people benefit properly in the procurement system, there is need for a more robust and a more well thought out procurement act so that we can move forward properly in this country to benefit everybody in this country. Ganesh, on that very note of amending the act, I know members of the Public Accounts Committee, yourself inclusive, you were invited recently to a workshop the government had. The name of it is slipping me now. Based on what the Vice President said today, and all the contradictions inherently there, do you get a sense that they are serious about rectifying some of this problem that has happened in a major way under this administration, or this is just damage control as we head into an election? It's not only damage control, Sherrod, it's also trying to dampen the situation that is before them. They are now traveling across the country, interacting in engagement with people, and they are hearing for themselves how people are being treated unfairly. They're hearing how the system is facilitating friends, families, and favorites, and they're now in the mode of trying to sugarcoat the issue, trying to pamper people's anxiety, trying to say that they are going to look at it. And then as we come closer to an election, they're going to say, okay, we did not know about all of this. In our next term, we're going to fix it. Well, there's going to be no next term because the people out there are fed up. They are fed up. And you know what is something to note, which is factual? The people are comparing how the procurement system happened under the coalition versus how it's happening now under the PPP. Many people meet us
speak with us in confidence, and they tell us that when we were in government from 2015 to 2020, there was a more equitable and equal manner of treatment when it comes to the awarding of contracts. And they felt as though everybody was getting a cut of the pie. They felt as though the cake was being distributed better than what it is being distributed now. And that is factual, because our time there was no friends, families, and favorites. They were strictly adherence to the Procurement Act, and the lowest, most responsive bidder was being awarded the contract, whether the person was associated to the PPP or not. And I can point out names of people who we knew in government associated to the PPP by way of how they campaigned in 2015. We knew of people who are family members of high officials in the PPP, but we never sidelined them from receiving contracts if they came in as the lowest, most responsive bidder. Once they go through the system, once they are being evaluated and they satisfy the criteria, they're entitled, they ought to get it. And that is the principle we have always held to. And we will continue to ensure that that is the method that is used. But without a doubt, the operations of this government requires there to be a repeal or amendments to this Act of 2003 for us to ensure that we have a system in place that caters for even those who are not catered for at this present time.
Yeah, there's where we're going to leave it this evening. I couldn't add anything to what Ganesh has said, putting properly into context all that Papa Jagabat said in that press conference today. You know, Jesus have mercy. Look what they've done to this country in a few short months. That being said, good folks, and that's joining us this evening. Share the live if you found any value in this broadcast. You're coming back to watch us. Smash that emoji button as well. Share the live, folks. Have a fantastic rest of the evening. That's our time, good folks, and that's our program. We're going to see you guys right back here on the next one. Stay safe.